I'm Jelani. Most people know me. You can call me Jay. My name's pretty difficult because it's African. But this is Garrett Denton's car. He's my buddy. He's down in Ohio right now going to college. So his car is up here in Detroit where I have more time to work on it and easier access to get stuff done while he's busy with work and school. So I'm doing all the fab work on it. It's going to go back down to his place in Ohio after we get done getting it painted here next week. And we'll do all the wiring and final assembly at his house. Last year on his Pro-Am car, I was driving down there every weekend to Ohio, and it got kind of stressful, you know, driving 2.5 hours to go work on the car. So now it's up here, getting fab work done. I'll let you guys check it out. I just got the engine in it. It's pretty cool. There's no engine. The head's actually at his family's machine shop. It's getting ported. We lost compression in the number 6 cylinder, like 80% leaked down, had a burnt exhaust valve. So this season we're going with Inconel valves and on the exhaust and stainless steel on the intake to try to keep that from happening. We figured out too that we had the cooling not routed in the optimal manner for the back cylinder of the 2J. I guess it likes to get hot. So we're going to try something new to keep that valve from burning up this year and hopefully have better luck with that. So right now I'm finishing up the fabric on the front end. I just gotta hang in the intercooler, hang the oil cooler, and it'll be pretty much a wrap up here. And work my way back on the rear of the car to get it finished to go to paint next week. We got a pretty tight deadline. We had a couple mishaps in the beginning of the season, getting stuff ordered and getting orders out and getting sponsorship figured out. We kind of got a late start on it, and it really kind of killed us. So a lot of these parts didn't show up until like a week ago. So I wasn't able to get a lot of stuff fitted as soon as I wanted to. I like this probably a month out on where I wanted to be with the car, but I think we can make it happen. It'll just be a last minute push, so usual race car stuff. But yeah, this is the car. It used to be an S13 in Pro-Am. We were actually thinking about keeping the S13, but after really looking at the car, it was built a long time ago, and a lot of stuff wasn't safe on it, and I think safety was the #1 reason why we didn't stay with that chassis. So we didn't get rid of that car. It's going to be a fun car for this year. We put a stock 1J in it, keep the CD09 in it, keep the twin disc in it, and most of the suspension staying on it. We got the new V2 wise fab, so the old wise fab will stay on that car, and we'll update it with some parts maybe from Bink Industries and make it drive more like this car, so that way he gets decent practice in it that's really consistent to how this car feels. Yeah, the S13 just wasn't going to be safe enough, I don't think, for Formula D. Like, you know, cars actually flip in Formula D and crash pretty hard. So #1 thing is safety. You know, you want to be able to do this for a long time and not get hurt. So we want the new chassis, and since we decided we were going to go with a new chassis, we're like, hey, might as well go with something a little bit more competitive. The S14 is a lot stiffer of a chassis. It's got a little bit more grip. So we decided to go with that. Plus the Kuki looks pissed. You know, the Sylvia looked pissed. The Kuki looks just as angry. So we decided to do a Kuki S14. Other than that, it's going to stay a lot similar to what the S13 was. When we built that car, we kind of built it on the mindset that if we decided to go to the next level, a lot of stuff could transfer over. So a lot of it is. They came out with the new wise fab, so we saw the improvements on that, so we jumped on board and switched that up. But the rear is going to be a lot the same. PBM, out back, tow control. We ran with the 350Z diff last season. We upgraded to R32 GTR and R33 GTR for this season, and OEM axles actually too. So I hear they're pretty strong, so we're gonna try that out. Didn't go to quick change route like a lot of people. Just you kind of got to choose where you can spend the money. You know, we only have so much a lot to upgrade in the car, so we still wanted to be reliable, but you gotta watch the budget. We are upgrading the transmission. Got a billet Samson 6-speed sequential, so that's still not here yet. We only got like another 2 months maybe, so still waiting on the trans. But it should be here in the next couple of weeks. Matt from Untitled Motorsport hooked us up with that, got us a killer deal on it, and took real good care of us. I just think Samson didn't expect that trans was going to catch on as hard as it did, and they got a lot of orders on those transmissions. But what's cool is Matt let us know that they prioritize the guys going into FD since they know we're in a strict deadline, so we should get ours first, hopefully. So waiting on that. We're going to do a carbon drive shaft to try to take some of the shock load off of the rear end, and we're also going to do a spec twin disc clutch. We ran that in S13, We upgraded it to a P trim, the next model up, 1,200 foot-pounds of clamp load, I think it is, and then we're going to do a clutch delay valve to keep some of the shock out of the driveline. But yeah, other than that, it's going to be real similar to S13. Same horsepower it had in Pro-Am, same turbo setup, same cams, stock bottom end VVTi 2J, putting in work. It's got an upgraded oil pump. That's about it. ATI damper. So real simple, clean. Fab work's real light. I didn't do anything really crazy on the fab work on it. Make it easy to work on, easy to repair. The front core support's removable. Yeah, this is it. So
talk about the parts and sponsors and stuff.
This is some of the parts that we did get in already. So this is cool. We ran just like a Jags. Actually, I think it was Aeromotive. We ran an Aeromotive Stealth fuel cell in Pro-Am, and it worked good. It had an Aeromotive lift pump, and we ran the Radium external surge tank last year, and that was really sweet. But when I saw they came out with this just cleans everything up so nice and neat. Now the surge tank's on the inside. I know a lot of people have seen this, and a lot of people switch into it. But the surge tank's built inside of it. It's got a triple pump setup, but we're only running 2. But we got the option to go to 3 in the future if we want to. And yeah, man, this thing is sweet. Cleans up everything. We don't have the surge and the pump still mount on the outside. Everything's taken care of. Line routing's real nice and neat. We got the remote fill too, so I have a remote filler tube, so we don't have to get all inside of the trunk and everything to fill it like we had to last year. So that's sweet. We got OMP fire suppression. Got to mount that up. That's actually on my to-do list for the day, to make a bracket to mount this. And then we went with the manual setup, pull cable, real simple. Just trying to keep everything as simple as possible for now, so we don't have too many things to program or learn, because it's a short learning curve for Pro 2 only being 4 rounds and the season being so close. We got our new PBM lower patrol arms. Since the last car was an S13, it did have an S14 subframe in it, but we used the S13 LCAs on it. We just put shims on it because like the spacing's different where it goes in. But for this car, we actually got S14 LCAs, so that'll go on the car. This is just the plumbing for the OMP setup. We got a radium coolant overflow, coolant surge tank set up for this thing, not coolant overflow. So that's in here. It's actually taken apart, so that's why it's still in the box. We ordered a lot of stuff from Chase Bays. They make some cool stuff. We got this for the cooling system. This thing is going to get welded to the coolant neck, and then where the coolant neck would normally come out and loop around and go to the radiator, this is going to go towards the rear of the car for the rear mount radiator. So that was pretty cool. I saw they came out with that, and I was like, yeah, we'll grab it. We got all the brake lines and everything for the car from Chase Bays. I really like Chase Bays coolant overflow because it actually has, I don't know if the camera will pick it up. It might. But it actually has a tube on the inside, so the overflow backfills into it real nice and neat, and then it's got an overflow tube that you can dump wherever you want to dump, or dump it into another can. Overflows on overflows on overflows if you want. So that thing was pretty cool. We got the power steering reservoir, because this mounts in the trunk also, because we're doing electric power steering. We had that last year on the S13, and that was pretty much the coolest thing ever. I advise anybody with a 2J that's having problems with power steering, just go electric. It's not that expensive. That pump was like $150, I want to say, and then we bought a second one for like $170 in case one failed, but we haven't had any issues with it. We use Earl's PowerFlex power steering line. You can kind of build it yourself like an AM fitting, and it'll hold some ridiculous PSI, so it's not crimped or anything. It's actually built. And we ran that all the way from the trunk up to the front of the car. Had a power steering cooler in the trunk, so that was nice. And power steering all the time, man. It runs consistent. It's not variable with the engine RPMs anymore. It's one consistent pressure. And it's nice when you're pushing the car around the paddock, you still got power steering. Wheel feels like it's on a ball bearing. It's great. But yeah, that was probably one of the best things we did. That was cool. And then this is the WiseFab V2 kit. Garrett had a few complaints with the older WiseFab stuff. He said it almost kind of felt like driving a racing game without force feedback. Like it didn't have enough steering feel. So they made a couple changes on this one. One of the things they said they did was they changed the steering ratio so it's not as quick and it's not as twitchy. They got rid of some binding and things in the suspension and the control arms. I think the control arms were hitting. on some of the cars that were raised up. Our car was low in Pro-Am. We were keeping it hot boy, so we weren't hitting shit. But yeah, so they fixed that. We're going to have to raise it up, obviously, coming into Pro, so now we won't have that problem. I think people were bending the LCAs or something like that to get rid of that problem. Like I said, we didn't run into it, so I don't know. But yeah, we got Field Suspension as a sponsor this year too, so we'll be running their 442 two-way external reservoirs, long stroke. So it's cool that they improved that. So now we won't have the issues with it binding and hitting on the knuckle. We also got Turbo by Garrett as a sponsor, but we're not switching our turbo out yet. We run a GTW billet wheel 10-blade ball bearing 3884R. It ends up being like a 64, 65, I think it is. It's rated to 950, I think, and we only run 660, 700, so it's plenty in its efficiency range. It spools really quick. We got full boost at like 3,500 RPM. It's making 600 foot-pounds of torque, so I think we're going to leave that setup alone for now, and throughout the season we'll start investigating maybe a new turbo setup, maybe even something smaller, more responsive, to avoid putting nitrous on the car or anything like that. Keep it simple. Less systems to worry about plumbing and malfunctioning. What else? Oh, shoot. A little teaser. Glitter came in for the paint because it's going to paint next week, so we'll still be blinging next season. We got some cool surprises coming out as far as the aesthetics on the car. As you can see, this is a Super Doof Aero Origin Type 3, and this is my buddy Shane's carbon fiber hood he let us use for mock-up so I can hang the front end. But this is actually not what's going to be on the car. So we teamed up with Corey Works, and we got a bunch of goodies from Car Modify Wonder coming in. We got some Urus pieces in there to spice it up a little bit. So we're going to keep the hot boy in Formula D, bring the style back a little bit. I think there's going to be a lot of stylish cars out there this year with a lot of good drivers. So should be a good season for watching FD. Easy on the eyes. Minus my ugly face anyway. But, yeah, so Car Modify Wonder. It should be the glare kit. Not should be, it is the glare kit. Corey Works hooked it up. They're air shipping it to us because, once again, time crunch. So they really stepped up big and helped us out. It should be looking pretty good. Some interesting color choices going on it. Some interesting wheel color choices going on it. Cool livery going on it. So it's going to be a busy 2 months. It's got to go to paint twice. Paint the interior, the cage, the firewall, and all that stuff. And then it's got to come back and get the exterior painted, and it's got to get wrapped. And we got to do a quick tune on it because with the Samsoness, it's got a sequential. So it's got a strain gauge on it, so that way it misfires the ignition every time you shift. So we got to get that tuned in. Other than that, the tune's pretty much going to stay the same. Runs pump E85, no ignite red or anything like that yet. Real simple, man, keeping it simple. Affordable, easy for a first season. You know, like I said, we built it pretty capable in Pro-Am, so we didn't have to make too many changes to it. And that's why I'm not stressing too much in this little bit of a time crunch we're in as far as getting close to assembly time. It should all be pretty well similar to the 13. So,
cool.
But
where can they find you guys at?
You can find us on Instagram at Denton Motorsports. You can find us on Facebook also at Denton Motorsports, and look for us on a couple more social media outlets going forward. We've been pretty busy, so we haven't had a chance to put a lot of media out. But Nate's here helping us with that today.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Nate. So. Yeah, but Denton Motorsports, Instagram and Facebook, and add Garrett Denton personal page. He'll reply and say what's up. Add my personal page, Jelani Winston on Facebook. I'll reply, say what's up if you guys have any questions or anything about setups on your car or why we're doing this, or even if you see something wrong and you want to chime in and catch us. I'll take all the help. But yeah, so we'll look at some more stuff on this thing. My boy Corey is my roommate. He drifts a gray Beamer, Corey Misko. Follow him on Instagram. He TIG welded the cage up, so all of these glorious TIG welds is him. The bending work is mainly me and Corey. The MIG welding down on the base plates and the boxes is all Garrett, and the ugly MIG welds on the anti-intrusion bars is me, because those were a royal cuss word to weld. So, yeah, but Corey helped out with all the welding and stuff, man. He's good. Out of position on a bench. That guy's just nasty. So be sure to look up a lot of his work. We still got gussets yet to add in. I haven't done that yet because I got to do some things in between here and route some things like the fire suppression and all that. So I'm going to add that in last minute before it goes to paint. I got some patch panels to put right here too, so that the gussets will kind of cover that up. So they're already pre-made and stamped out. We just got to get them tacked in place and all that. And then I still have yet to do anything in the rear minus cut stuff out. So this is going to be my main goal for the week, is to get the rear radiator and the fuel cell back here that just showed up. Chelsea the Nosebag actually hooked us up big time with the rear mount radiator setup with dash 20 ANs and bunch of line and all kinds of stuff from off his old pro car. So that was pretty cool. Thank you, Chelsea. That was big. So yeah, still got to do all this work back here. Rear firewall, mount the fuel cell, hang the rear radiator, and then box on the frames down here, mount the battery. So probably do that Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll get this thing back to being a roller. The subframe's sitting over here. All the stock suspension and stuff is sitting over here, so we'll just slap it back underneath and roll it in the paint. We don't have to worry about masking too much stuff because all of that's stock, so it'd be nice and easy. Yeah, like I said, we still got a lot to go in this thing. It's crunch time, so got some more finish welding to do. I found out recently I got to add 2 bars right here. Womp womp. I like the way it looks when it doesn't have the 2 bars, but safety first. Once again, gotta be safe. So put 2 bars here, and we'll add some more gussets. We never have too many of those, so I guess that's the only like saving grace on that. But I love the way the plain uninterrupted X looks. It's probably one of my favorite door bars. Easiest to weld too. It's really nice. Yeah, that's the interior. Stock steering column, man. Keeping it simple, dude. Keep it real simple. A lot of guys are going with the one-piece collapsible steering column. The stock one's somewhat collapsible too. You know, going into Pro 2, coming straight out of Pro-Am, there's a lot of things you could upgrade and go crazy with, but you kind of got to pick and choose and figure out what can wait until next season and do what you can do. The stuff that really matters first, tackle the big stuff, and then, you know, come back and get the little stuff later. So maybe next season we'll go to a one-piece steering column, we'll do a pedal box, and do some remote reservoirs and stuff like that. Do some simple stuff next season, so it's a nice, easy off season instead of a hectic one like this year. I'm keeping the sunroof in it. How about that? It's actually right there. I'm gonna come up with a cool little mount. Keep the sunroof in it so it's removable. Put it back in. Hot boy. Gotta keep the sunroof. I hate the ugly patch panel, dude. So it's pretty cool. And then what I'm working on today is I just got the intercooler set up. It's a 4-inch CX Racing. Nothing too crazy. It's not a Garrett core. It'd be nice to have a Garrett core. We picked up Turbo by Garrett as a sponsor, but we didn't have the time to get a Garrett core and fab up a custom intercooler, so maybe that's something we'll do later too. But this is a CX 4-inch core. This bad boy is the oil cooler. It's freaking huge. It's like a Honda radiator. Dash 10 outlet on it. Big fan on it, so we're not going to have any overheating on the oil. We have to put a thermostat on this bad boy to keep it from cooling it off too much. Oil might not even get hot with this thing. So we got that going in. It looks like I'm going to have a hell of a time getting this intercooler pipe to snake up through here. So I got this sitting here. Probably going to have to do some trimming right here and some pie cuts and have that come in. Probably work on that while this thing is in paint. I'll mock it up and get Corey to weld it all up, because Corey's good at aluminum. I'm not good at aluminum. We'll let Corey do that. Yeah, so gotta mount this big boy up. And then this is the radiator and shroud I was talking about earlier. This is a Dural unit. I see Rad Dan always loves the Dural stuff. I love it too. 4,000 CFM. Shouldn't be any major overheating problems. This is a double pass. So it's a Speedway radiator. So it's like some circle track stuff or something, I think. It's pretty big though. It should work. Last season, we were overheating like a son of a, oh man. So Garrett would get into these like one more time battles and these long drawn out battles and stuff like that, and the car literally coming off track was 275 degrees one time. 275 degrees. The cooling system was not up to the task, and partly that was our fault, just not knowing like how hot 2J really would get. And then we were chasing so many driveline failures because the horsepower and the torque were just so violent that we never even got a chance to get back to the cooling system. You know, every round we had something to fix. You know, It started out with the clutch. So we lost the clutch after round 1 in that no star bash, I think it was. We had a single disc on it, and it was a heavy duty clutch, and the pressure plate was just the stiffest thing ever. And you would like push the clutch pedal, and you could see the firewall flexing and all this stuff. And eventually that broke the throwout bearing, which then broke the CD09. So then we went to a twin disc and fixed that. The next thing was the diffs. We broke every type of diff configuration you could put in the back of one of these, minus like a GTR diff. So it started out with an S13 diff with 240 stubs, converted to work with 350Z axles. We snapped both of the stubs off in a diff in one go and killed the cause 2A that was in it. So then we switched to a 350Z diff with using actual Z stubs and then Z axles, but they were parts store axles, and we didn't know that the parts store casting looks like styrofoam, and we broke those left and right. So by the time that started happening, the season was pretty much over, so we never got our hands on a set of OEM axles to try out. But I think if we would have got some OEM 350Z axles, we would have had way less failures. Maybe a failure every now and then, but that's still too much in competition drifting because, you know, your axle fails while you're battling for the top spot. You're pissed. So we've never found like a winning diff combination with the whole car at the power level we were at. And then, of course, the overheating too, man. Like, we literally used to bring a generator to grid, like a tiny one, just to run an auxiliary fan to pull the car up to the fan and cool it off while we were changing tires and stuff. And, you know, we had 2 pump sprayers with ice water. It was spraying down the oil cooler, it was spraying down the radiator. It was just bad. The engine was so close to the radiator too. Everything was getting heat soaked, and yeah, that was a rough season for overheating.
Well, this year it looks like you guys fixed it. So
hopefully. I think we got a winning setup. We pretty much looked at what a lot of the big dogs are doing in Pro 1 and kind of copied it to the best we could. So we learned some new tricks as far as like coolant routing on the backside of the head. I guess coolant likes to get stuck back there in the 2JZ. So hopefully that goes good. And then going with the rear mount radiator, we got a CBR Pro Flow billet water pump, 55 gallons a minute or hour. I don't know what they rated it, but it's 55. I know that was the number that I was told to look for. So got that. Rad Dan gave me that bit of information. Thank you. We got some Greddy alternator bracket too, because since we have electric power steering and electric water pump now, there's only one belt on the front of this thing. That's for the alternator. So we got some bracket from Greddy that lets you rock the alternator and use it as a tensioner. So that's pretty cool. If you guys need that, you want to get rid of all those belts and stuff, that's what you got to get. Works great. What else? I think that covers most of the updates for the car.
Yeah, should be more coming soon.
Yeah, a whole lot more coming soon. We got 2 months to get a whole lot more coming. It's got to be a running car in 2 months, and we're going to be going down the hill in Atlanta at 100+ mile an hour, so it's got to be working too. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of competition this year in Pro 2. Dustin Miles, Jeff Donati, Noah Michaels, Mike Fiox coming back, Andrew Lewis is coming back. Who was the guy from the East Coast with that red M3 that was at the 4th round? It was an E36. Kendrick Meyer. Yeah. That dude was killing it. I'm excited, man. I like seeing all these talented people coming in. I think Blake Olson was coming in, but I saw on Instagram he like exploded his kneecaps in a terrible way. Dude, his kneecap looked like a face. So hopefully he heals up and he makes it in maybe after the 1st round, because it's 3 months off after the 1st round. So maybe he'll heal up and jump in. Yeah. Best luck, Blake Olson. Get well soon.
Literal.
Ryan Literal doing double duty, Pro 1 and Pro 2. So that's gonna be dope. Like, I'm excited, man. I want to see good battles. I'm excited to see Pro 2 do well. It's a lot of guys coming out of Pro-Am, familiar faces and stuff. So you want to see everybody do really well for themselves. So I'm pumped. Should be a good season. Then Midwest round, St. Louis. Midwest has been crying for an FD round, dude. Like, you gotta travel like 10 hours to get to the nearest like FD round. So it's kind of cool to see the Midwest getting love. So that's pretty cool. And we ran there. So
you got a home track advantage there.
Home track advantage. We qualified number 1 there too. So hey, maybe that'll give us a little edge. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, awesome. Sounds like we got a lot going on, and I'll have to stay tuned for more.
Yeah, definitely. Stay tuned. Once the season gets going, updates coming left and right. Hopefully some rad content. We got daily driver media dropping bombs, so it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be a good year.
It's gonna be a really good year, dude. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. I don't know if you guys know anything about Garrett. He's a young guy, so a lot of people should be able to relate to him. He's I think he just turned 21 yesterday. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And
happy birthday, Garrett.
Yeah, happy birthday, man. And then this car is garage built, man. 2-car garage, a shitty 2-car garage. So.
It's not it's not anything special. I mean,
the floor is all crap. You know, we got decent tools. It's all stuff anybody else could buy. It's not anything crazy. We don't have a huge scientist lab and team of engineers doing anything. This is all garage built. Jack stands, floor jack, hand tools, you know. I got pieces of wood holding the intercooler up and stuff, you know. Got my quick clamps, and so you guys make it out and do it too. Get everybody having fun again, competing, and keep it simple. That's what. Hopefully this works for us. You know, you guys follow the build and you see how clean and simple we keep it. Not too much craziness going on. So if it works out, copy what we do. Keep it simple. Keep it easy to work on. Have fun with it. That's going to be the movement for this season, so keep it simple and have fun.
All right, sounds good.
Later, guys.